Thank you, Zoom. Great. Okay, so where do we start? So I'm just going to assume that most of you used or been on Zoom at this point, but I'll go through a few bits anyway. So you can mute bottom left. I try and encourage people to keep their mics off because, you know, it doesn't matter if we hear a dog or a cat or a child. It's kind of better if you feel more comfortable to speak. I feel like there's less barrier if you have your mic off. You feel a bit more open and can talk freely, but equally you can keep your mic muted. It'd be great to see everyone's faces, but again, if you don't want to be on the camera, that's fine. There's lovely little reactions button bottom right, so if you have something to say but you don't want to actually talk, then please do so. So I'm absolutely happy to be here. And there's obviously the chat function as well, which is a little speech bubble at the bottom, so if you click on that throughout, if you have any comments you want to add, cool, not so cool, question, anything, just post it in the chat and hopefully Annalie will pick it up and shout at me if I'm rambling. And then we're going to be using a tool called Jamboard. I think some of you have used that before as well. It's Google's magical tool. But when we get onto that platform, I'll do a little run through there. It's pretty straightforward to use. And I think I've sent out the link already. So I think they've already got the link. Is that right, Sue? Yes, I think so. Cool. So we'll do a little icebreaker. I'm not sure how many of you know each other or don't know each other, but I don't know any of you. So we've already introduced ourselves formally, but we can do a bit of a less formal intro. So if you just say your name, how you'd like to be introduced, and state your spirit animal or favorite animal. So I will start. My name's Josie and my spirit animal is definitely a cat. And when you've chosen and you said it, if you can nominate the next person and just shout out the name and they'll talk. So I nominate Jill.
My name's Jill and I will say a tortoise. Josie next.
I've gone.
Sorry, Sue next.
Hi, I'm Sue and my spirit animal is a fallow deer, leaping around. And I nominate Mark.
So mine would be a cat. And I nominate John.
Hi there, yeah, I'm John, St Andrews and Montpellier Parks, and my spirity animal will probably be this one, if I can pick her up. That was a dog, didn't I?
Nice. Who are you going to nominate, John?
We had Caroline.
You all sound very sure about your spirit animals. I feel like I've missed something in my life where I should have been designated something. I'm Caroline and I'm going to be an owl, I think. And I nominate Russ. I don't think we've heard Russ.
Hello, Russ, friends of Castle Park. That's Castle Park you can see behind me, and that's where I take my dog every day. So I'm going to have a dog as my spirit animal, and she's called Millie. And I'll nominate Peter.
Hi there. I think I've met Russ before on other calls, and certainly Josie. I'm Peter. I represent Manor Woods Valley Group, a nature reserve in South Bristol. And I've never been asked this before, but I guess my spirit animal will be a fox. And I would nominate. Oh, God, I'm losing track now. Anna, have you had a go yet? Go on then, Anna next.
Sorry, hi there. Yeah, Anna, and I'm afraid I'm yet another cat, or it would be yet another cat. I nominate. I guess I've got to go on to the second sheet. Where's Cheryl? And Annalie, have we?
Yeah, that's me. Hello, I'm Annalie, and I shall go for a lioness. I live in Eastville Park, actually, Stuff most myself personally. So, but I work with Lois Media Centre, so but it's really nice to be involved with a group like this as well in terms of parks. I nominate Sarah West.
Hi, I'm Sarah West, and I'm from Friends of Eastwell Park, and I think my spirit animal is probably a whale shark. So I'll nominate, who haven't we had? Jackie.
Hey, I'd say a butterfly, and it hasn't gone.
Elaine, I think.
Elaine, do you say? Elaine, then.
Okay, so my name is Elaine. I'm representing Keynsham Abbey today, and my name, spirit animal, is a and Peter, have you gone yet?
I think we've all gone.
Yes. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. I'm glad to introduce some spirit animal thinking to some of you as well that haven't maybe done it before. Very important. So I'm going to share my screen. Andy, I think you're going to have to mute just because I can hear a little part.
Oh yeah, of course.
In the background.
I'm aware.
Which is fine, but you know. Cool. So let's see if that was the wrong screen. Been a little while since I've done this. So can you all see a screen?
Yeah.
Is it a presentation screen?
Yes. Yep.
Fantastic. So this first task complete. Annalie, just keep the time for me, just because I'm going to fully go into this now. So great. That was fun. I hope you all enjoyed that little icebreaker. So we've kind of outlined the workshop aims and objectives as follows. So generally it's to learn more about social media tools, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and explore how to create a strategy for our social media platforms. And our objectives will be to understand how to reach and grow our platform, to review the fundamental principles and approach of using social media tools successfully, and to introduce some additional tools to support using, planning and creating content. So you guys completed a little survey before coming to this session, which was really useful. And these are kind of the main things that I gathered. So most of you, or all of you, apart from a part of a green or parks group, there's a mix of confidence levels in terms of using the platforms, but most of you are currently using either Facebook, a few on Instagram and Twitter, and there is, not to my knowledge, any specific access needs. Correct? Sound good? Great. So just to be clear as well, there was an amazing resource that was shared beforehand, which kind of outlines some of the specifics into using these platforms. So like how to post a tweet, you know, how to use the platform, like a run through, but we're not going to go into any of that gritty detail today. We wouldn't have time to do it. And you'll find when we go on to, the strategy is way more useful when you're thinking about who and how and what. And if you have any more specific, if you have specific questions as we continue, please ask or write them in the chat, or we'll save them for the end. And if we have time at the end, we can go through some of these and I can share some resources and links at the end. Cool. So this is how we will structure today's session. So we'll go over why. So why we're undertaking social media, like why are we on social media? Why have we sold our soul to this devil and how can we use it? Who are we trying to communicate with? So this might be different for everyone, but I think we all have a similarity. What message are we going to share or show? And how are we going to do this? So we'll just start with why. Why are we all here? Why might we use social media? Why do we want to use social media? If you would like to just spend 5 minutes to chat, raise your hand, talk out. This will be captured in the recording, so we don't need to write any notes or anything. But if you want to speak freely, because there's loads of reasons why we could use social media, but why are we all here today? What's our key focus? Don't be shy.
Shall I start then? We want to basically just attract and get more local people to know that we're here and we want to help as widely as possible.
Thank you, Jackie.
We want to send out messages to say, come along to different things that we're organising, sort of gardening sessions or litter picking. Come and join us and get people involved, get more membership. We want to send out regular sort of updates to get people involved.
Great.
Yeah, same with Manor Woods Valley. I mean, we're there. We want to advertise, for want of a better word, what we do, and encourage people to join us in doing that, and also to show the wonderful place that is Manor Woods Valley. So yeah,
amazing.
Same for us with so I'm Arnold's Court Park in Brislington, so absolutely agree with all of that. There's something that we've chosen not to do that we'd really like to communicate, which is an interesting one, which is we've got a piece of woodland and it's semi-ancient woodland and it's been completely decimated over the past year and 3 months because of people trampling all over it. So it's I know that's happened to quite a few of us with our parks. So one thing we'd kind of love to be able to say is please stop it and please stick to the paths, but we're not, because we want to try to stick to sort of positive media where we can, and also we don't want to draw attention to the fact somebody's hacked out like a bike track in the middle of the woodland, and we're hopefully going to put some dead hedges up later in the year to try to kind of protect it again. So we don't want to draw attention to it, but we're in an ideal world would just go, please stop doing this to our flora and the wildlife, but we're not. And so that might be an interesting thing to cover at some point, is it right to sometimes not talk about the negative bits that we can be dealing with, because it's not, we kind of think maybe that's not the tone we want to set, but there are pros and cons, I think, to doing it or to not doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes how we use a lot of our social media for Facebook. We have a lot of people who comment on problems that we have in the park, and yeah, you get sometimes a heated discussion and you have to stick the moderator hat on, but we've also had some really great collaborative solutions and volunteers coming forward, so we found it can be quite a positive thing.
Yeah, everything I've heard so far sounds about right. One of the things I set out to do was to gather a lot of data. So I've been doing data harvesting for a couple of years now. We've got about 1,200 members. And it's really to get answers to the 3 joining questions, which in our case are what do you like about the park, what don't you like, and how could the park be improved? So all that information has been really useful in discussions with Bristol City Council with regards to getting them to listen to what our users want out of the park. And I've also engaged in conversations with local developers, and we are in a position at the moment where we're kind of surrounded by development, and they're approaching us to find out what it is we want them to do with Castle Park, and what we definitely don't want. In the case of the Bank of England site, earlier developers were proposing a land grab of up to 20% of the park, so that was fiercely resisted. Most recent developers, MEPC, they're a bit more cooperative. They've listened to what we've had to say, and they'll be incorporating some of our ideas. So it's been quite a useful platform to give the park a voice, really. That's what it's been about for us.
Yeah, I guess echoing what Russ has just said, even for us, it is about finding a voice. So setting up a charity from scratch, how do we define our role and bring people with us, gather ideas from people about how we might find new ways to support parks and green spaces, get people involved, celebrate what we've got here in Bristol and Bath, and yeah, really try to sort of gain some support around what we're trying to achieve, which might be people volunteering, or it might be people actually donating to certain crowdfund campaigns or other ideas for additional support.
Yes, with respect to Montpellier Park, it's bringing. We're a bit of a dissolute group, so because people together, people on various Montpellier groups or Montpellier. So we sort of bring things together would be good, and get more members and volunteers together to do various things, and also deal with problems as they arise, hopefully. So yeah, much as what people have said before.
Fantastic.
For me, it's trying to incorporate people of multiple groups in like Northwest Bristol, because we formed lots of different groups for different parks and green areas, and it's a lot of people want to do the same activity across all of them, like litter picking and other sustainability things. So it's just trying to get the message out that you can do that in 5 or 6 different places. So it's just trying to bring it all together more under one umbrella, really.
Great.
What I'd like to get out of the course is to know what I should put on Twitter. Should I put photographs on? Does that attract attention? Do I do small amount of words? Because too many words, people don't read them. And how do I go about it? I don't know how to process it, putting something on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it also, yeah, I mean, we're very much Facebook and WhatsApp group, I guess, the activity at the moment. So it'd be good to know where and when Twitter and Instagram are a better option.
So loads of reasons, which is great. And there's obviously a lot of synergies within what everyone's saying, but there's quite a clear need for this sense of bringing off together of communities and people, giving the parks a voice, defining roles. It's a really interesting point that you said, I can't see your name, about asking people what not to do. So you want to draw attention, but not in the wrong way. So there might be something there around kind of making and assisting people to actually care and nurture for their environment and their natural spaces. But all really good points, and we'll definitely cover some of this as we continue. So thank you. So these are some generic kind of pointers, which you've kind of covered, but in more kind of thorough ways. So to build a following, the Parks has already got a great following, but the importance of having numbers compared to engagement is incredible. You can have 10,000 followers, but if you only have 10 people liking your photos, then there's a massive disparity and something's going wrong. So it's always interaction over numbers. So to meet people where they are. So obviously that's why we use social media platforms, because they're so accessible these days. To drive traffic maybe to a website, or in this case, it will be to the parks, and to create some sort of call to action. So these were the top 3 kind of aims that we gathered from the survey, and it kind of echoes what you guys have already said. So to recruit volunteers, to publicize events, and to document and share what you do. And obviously within those, there's a whole load of things that you are trying to aim to do as well. And within those, how they connect is also really important. So if you have volunteers, they can help you publicize events, and that in a sense will help you document and share what you do. So they all come and kind of work together. So in order to achieve these aims, we really need to know who we're trying to reach. And that is always, always, always the most important thing. We'll cover the who, what, why, where, but the who, in my experience, is always the most important. So once you understand who you're trying to contact, it's literally just like having a conversation with them. Once you're able to speak the same language as them, then you're able to engage with them properly. So the easiest way to do this, which has moved us nicely onto the next activity, is to really understand who we're trying to talk to. So can we reach multiple users? Are they an existing audience, or are they new to you? So if you already have a platform but you want to reach new people, are they familiar with technology or not? Where are they located? Are they located near the parks that you are working with or beyond. What are their age and what are their interests? So we're going to do, which is kind of the main activity of this workshop, is a little persona activity. So spend about 10 minutes doing it as a group, and then we're going to break out into breakout rooms. I'm not sure we still have to do that, Annalie. Maybe we can decide that, because I thought there'd be about double of you, and then we'll reflect back after. So Annalie, do you mind just posting the Jamboard link into the chat, please? If you will just join this Jamboard link, I'll stop sharing my screen.
I don't know what a Jamboard link is. I don't know what a Jamboard is.
That's okay. So Annalie is going to share it in the chat, and once you click onto it, I'll talk you through it.
Are you able to see the chat function on the right?
I've got a chat with 2 chat messages in there.
Yeah, so the bottom one is a link, so you can just click on that and that'll take you to the chat. Yeah, that's what you click.
No, it's a red number 2. I can't see a blue one.
I don't know what that means. A red number 2.
I thought
just
I
place it again.
2 messages.
So the one I said to raise your hand, go to the participants button. Yeah, you see that?
Stop sharing, it might be easier.
Or just to send it to you personally, I can do that.
This is the party outside, Annalie, that we can hear, yeah. So Jill, if you just, there's a little speech bubble at the bottom where it says 2. If you click onto the 2, you should open a chat function, and then
yes,
great. So then if the last one that says Jamboard, if you just click onto that link, it should hopefully direct you into the board, but sometimes it will ask you for permission, because Google's got this crazy setup of keeping things secure.
Right, thank you very much for your help. I've gone to a Jamboard social media training.
Amazing.
Who?
Great. So we all there? Can we all see the who? Amazing. Right, let me get to see the who now, because I'm not there yet. Great. So we're going to do a little activity and basically just define the 3 top users who you might be trying to engage with. So asking all of these questions, and we're going to profile them to the most specific way that we can. We'll give them a name, we'll give them a location. We're going to really profile the people. We're going to do one collectively, just so we've got the hang of the kind of that activity, and then we'll break off and do separate ones. So Jamboard, amazing tool if you use it well. So maybe I could share my screen, so it may be easier for now before we get onto it. Here we are. Can you all see my Jamboard link on the screen? Great. So
You what, sorry?
Can you see I'm sharing my screen. Can you see the Jamboard on?
Oh, sorry, I've got my Jamboard up. Oh yeah, right.
A second, I'll just run through it before you do so. So the only functions we're going to use will be this little sticky note here. So if this is the toolbar and these are the various functions. So there's a little sticky note. If you click onto that and type, this will be a sticky note. You can choose different colors, which might be useful later. And then once you've decided what you want to type, you just press save and it will just drop it into the board like this. And this is the default cursor, so you'll always be on that to select. So you can click onto your Post-it note and move it around however you want. But don't worry too much about that, because me and Annalie will kind of move stuff around, because sometimes it gets a bit hectic in here. If you wanted to add an image or a shape or a text box, you could, but we'll keep it really simple today and we'll just use the Post-it notes. There's a few boards on here. So if you look at the top rectangle, there's 2 out of 9. If you click onto that, it will take you to the various boards that we've got open. So this was the first one. So if you want to go into the first one, you click onto the first one. This is the second one. You can also do the same just by pressing back and forward like that. And these are you guys up here. Then maybe not your spirit animals, but maybe something to consider. Cool. Does that sound good? Is there any questions? Good. Great.
Sorry, I've got a question. Now I minimized mine. How do I find it again?
Your Jamboard?
Yeah.
So it should be on Google in your internet browser.
That's what I mean. How do I get back to that without losing Zoom?
Oh, that's
I
fine.
can't see a minimize thing.
That's right. I'll stop sharing my screen and we can all go onto the board now. So don't worry about Zoom.
Oh, right. Okay.
We'll go into the Google world. Cool. So again, don't be shy. I think it might be useful to be specific with one of the parks as an example for this. So if anyone wants to nominate a park, what we'll do is we'll try and think about one of the audience members or people that would be relevant or you want to engage with related to that park. So for example, Montpellier Park, if we use Montpellier as the location, or maybe they live somewhere else, but that's who we still want to engage, we'll focus on that for this one, and then we'll go off and do 2 others, and then you'll hopefully get the gist of the activity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Great. So where should we locate this guy? This little orange guy. Anneli?
Sorry, Josie. We've just got here. Are you able to share the screen of the Jamboard? Sorry, it's a bit noisy here with the music. Or do you want to give me access and then I can just share it from my screen? It's just so that everybody can see it on the video, because they don't really have to. Well, yeah. Okay. No, it's just Sarah actually can't access it because she's on a mobile phone and she needs the app.
Oh,
so that's why I'm thinking if I can share it from my side, whoever doesn't have access to it can at least still see it happening. Yeah. So just give me access. Cool.
Bear with. You do have access, Anneli. All the access, but I'll share my screen for the first activity if that's useful. So go back to not going on the Jamboard then and just go to Zoom. Sorry, guys.
Are you talking to all of us now?
Yes. I'm just saying someone apparently can't use they're on their phone, so we'll just do this activity and I can type and you guys can call out and then we can go onto the Jamboard. So does anyone have a location in mind where we want to start?
Well, shall we start on my park, Sydney Gardens in Bath?
Sorry?
Sydney Gardens in Bath.
Yes, let's do it. Amazing. Can you all see my screen, yeah?
Yes, you need to spell SYDNEY. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Cool. So who is the person that we are trying to engage for Sydney Gardens Bath? What age are they?
Probably 30, 40-year-olds with young children to come and bring the children to the park.
Children. 2 children?
Yes.
Why not? Maybe they're twins. So they live in Bath?
Yes, but happy to attract people from as far afield as they want to come.
Cool. Start with someone who lives in Bath, but it's a good to think of that as well. What are their interests? Do they like nature? What are their hobbies? And everyone can chip in as well at this point.
They like rugby.
Great.
Quite close to the rec, isn't it?
Yeah. Do they play rugby or do they like rugby?
They like rugby.
Okay. Nice. We could building a good picture here. Anything else?
They like to keep their children entertained.
Good. That's good. Anything else going on in their lives?
Don't like litter.
They don't like litter. Anti-litter. So they're the type of people that will tell kids off for dropping stuff. It'll be like the bin's there. Okay, maybe they do litter picks on the weekends.
They're not averse to a bit of history and culture that might rub off on them. It's very historic, and if you dig a little, it's fascinating. Industrial Revolution history, because of the canal. It's not far away.
Nice.
Brunel's Great Western Railway, and it's beautiful.
Interested in nature and trees. We have some lovely trees, a tree walk.
Love this. Yep, great. So maybe when they go on these kind of tree walks, they'll give you a bit of insight into some of the history as well.
Yes, that's right.
Yep, I like this person. Anything else? Are there any challenges? Anything I can think of one.
Working, both working with 2 young children, not a lot of free time.
This might be a common challenge, just saying. I have to copy and paste this one. Yep, not lots of free time. So I guess the free time they do have, like what someone suggested earlier, maybe to keep their children entertained. So maybe we can kind of fuse that. Oh, some people are joining, so we might have to intro some stuff. But yeah, maybe they like to create activities where they can enjoy themselves as well as their children, because they don't have free time to do both. Hi to the guys that have just joined. If I can see. Cool. Any other challenges?
There's the railway line, so you'd hope they were interested in trains. They could watch the trains coming through there, and the wildlife on the canal, because the canal goes through there. And it's a small.
That'd be interest, not hobbies, and not challenges, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, is there any
Yes.
like challenges? Any more challenges? I mean, they don't need to have loads of challenges, but it's good to think this kind of deeply.
The challenge is it's getting there. We don't have a car park, so it's a challenge. That's the problem. You'd have to come on a bus, or that's why it's suitable for people living in Bath, really, because otherwise it's quite a challenge to get there.
That's good. This is also thinking about them as just generally like their challenges of their actual life without any relation to a part. So just any challenges. Annalie, do you have your hand up? Oh, okay. I think this is good otherwise, unless you have any more to add. Annalie, do you have any suggestions? Does anyone else have any suggestions?
I'm not that familiar with this park, but I'm not sure if there's public toilets there. A lot of ours in Bristol have been closed, and when you have small children, having access to toilets is really important.
Yes, planning having access to toilets. There are public toilets, actually.
Okay, that's a good point though still.
It is.
So that's that type of information. It's the type of information that we kind of want to make sure that people understand, so that they know that they can not worry about having to take the kids into the bushes or whatever they have to do,
Yeah.
which is also fine. Cool. Anything else? One main thing, we forgot to give them a name. I mean, I don't know. I was assuming they were a woman, but they could be a man or they could be neither. But does anyone want to name this lovely person?
Go for Joe, because it could be either then.
Like that, Joe. Cool.
Just thought of one other thing. They're quite stressed out parents, and they're putting on a bit too much weight, and they'd like some ideas to improve their well-being.
And I'll wait, especially in lockdown. They're like, can I catch a break? So really good things to think around what type of content you could use and kind of influence people with these kind of problems as well, actually. So that's a really good one. Great. Lack of car parking. So we have Jo. She's 30 to 34, 30 to 40. I'm just going to call her 39 to be, specific. They love nature. Jo loves nature. They like to watch rugby. They hate litter. So that's actually maybe even a challenge. I don't know. They love spending time near the wildlife and the canal, and they like, the Great Western Rail history. Love Brunel. Sometimes pop to Bristol and go onto the SS Great Britain. They're interested in history and culture and the Industrial Revolution, etc. Some of the things that they need to consider is always having to keep their children entertained, because they have 2 children. Planning where they go, do they have access to public toilets, is there parking, all of those things. And they live in Bath, and their closest park is Sydney Gardens in Bath. Some of their challenges are that they have, because they have 2 children, they don't have a lot of free time, and they can be a bit stressed. They've started to put on a bit of weight, and they're looking for ways to improve their health and lifestyle whilst also looking after their kids. Sounds quite realistic. It's really good start. That was a good kind of crack at the first person. So we're going to move on and do 2 others with 2 different parks. I was going to do breakout rooms, Annie. Do you think we should still do breakout rooms, or we do it together collectively? Because there's less people. There's less.
Just check the time. I think is a good one to help us decide.
Good point. Because I will go on forever.
We've just gone over 5 minutes. I think we'll be able to get more done, actually, more in depth if we break out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna so we're gonna go into 2 breakout rooms. I'll lead one, Annalie will lead one, and we'll get 2 more personas in one of the people, one of the parks in each one, and then we'll come back and share. Cool.
Josie, do you mind to put Sarah West in your group? Because then you can share your screen, because I don't have access at the moment, okay?
Oh, I've got you, Sarah.
Thank
If
you.
anyone else, cool. If anyone else doesn't have access or is on a mobile phone, just let us know, and then rather go in the share screen version if it needs to be.
Cool. So I'll see you guys. Oh wait, room 1 and 2. So just give me a little second.